somebody say something about don't miss it.
Oh, I can't.
Be there.
Listen, be there because tonight it was on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of a Wild Time podcast, but this time a little something different here. What are you laughing at?
You messed up again. I'd just go ahead and restart it.
No, not now. This is Adam and Lindsay After Dark, and she looks to be in the dark as of right now. Thank you for all the subscriptions, all the likes. I just had a good sit-down interview. Now listen to how this went. I just had Rugged Ronnie Garvin, the Hands of Stone, Wildfire Tommy Rich, had him on here, talking to him. Got about 7 minutes in, and which we were only going to go about 10 minutes, but we got 7 minutes in and had some technical difficulties and had to cut it off. But we got enough, and Tommy will be on pretty regular. Me and Tommy's been traveling up and down the road together, working for Wildfire Championship Wrestling. Going to be a lot of Wildfire Championship Wrestling in Floyd County in September, so keep an eye out for that. And also, Bo's Tractor Works. Thank you all for sponsoring the show. Bo and the boys. Listen, Bo and myself went over to Milton, West Virginia at the fair last week and had an awesome time. The whole Bo's Tractor Works crew was there selling salve, the AW, and a lot of the wrestlers took a liking to it. So get over, get your salve off them, or come to the Bears Den Training Center, and we'll make sure that we can hook you up also. Weird ass hot dogs also, and Wedge's lemonade. Richard Burchett making the best, weirdest hot dogs out there, and some of the greatest lemonade. Helped the Betsy Lane basketball team out last week and served a lot of different variations of lemonade. Thank you guys. Now, to get to the meat and potatoes of the night, we have done a couple question and answers kind of shows, but I always get a lot of views on these when we do a show together. So
you use me for the views.
Yeah, I use you for the views. No, you're actually a wanted and requested guest on here. So you're blushing. You're red.
No, I'm not.
But anyways, I wanted to start something a little bit different and do a spin-off with you. Adam and Lindsay After Dark. We talk marriage, we talk life, we talk love, we talk just topics that every day. And there's a fly on my screen, and I want to kick I hate flies, but this is just something that all couples can tune into, all future couples, all people that are going into relationships. It's something that you can tune into because we've been through it. We were young once. We got together when we were really young, and now we're middle-aged, and we've got time to talk and answer questions.
Middle-aged?
Well, I mean,
oh, I don't like the sound of that.
It's tough to handle.
Middle-aged, that's like mid-40s, mid-50s. Don't you think?
Mid-50s.
I don't like being 33 being called middle-aged.
I don't like being 38, but the facts remain. We're probably not middle-aged. We're young adults.
Get that fly off my face.
There you go, fly. Anyways, we went on a trip to Louisville last week, which was awesome. We went to Top Golf and took our boy and his friends and my niece and her fiance went, and it was the first time we've been there. What would you think about Top Golf? What would you think about it?
It was fun. I didn't even golf. I don't even know how to golf, and I still had a really good time. Something for everybody.
It was fun. The atmosphere was fun. There's a mall right next to there we went in, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was like connected. We walked. I mean, it wasn't connected to Top Golf, but it was connected to the parking lot. We walked across that bridge.
But it will put a dent in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It will put a dent in your pocket.
It ran into a lot of money.
So the best thing I can tell you that if you plan a trip to Top Golf and the mall,
be ready to spend about $500.
Easy now. Let's don't get
at least.
Lindsay and After Dark talking finances too. But no, the trip was awesome. We had a good time. Every time we go to Louisville, we have a good time, whether it's down to the Muhammad Ali Center or to take Max down.
That's one of my favorite places to go. Is the Muhammad Ali Center. I don't even know why. It was so fun. It's so interactive. And we just had a real good time. I'd like to do that again.
I'd love to take my dad down to that. I think he would I think he would really enjoy that.
It's inspirational, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's
really cool.
It's hard to put into words how awesome of a place it is. I mean, not just for boxing, but history. I mean, there's
that's what I loved about it.
A lot of history in that place. But yeah, we had a killer trip to Louisville. And when we started this, I want to come up with, we're going to do this like twice a month. I could do it every week. I could do it every weekend. I started coming up with some topics for our first show, and I just wanted to do 5. And I think there's some people that left questions for us on my page.
So we're going to answer them after the 5.
Yes. We've got our topics right now. And the first one is going to be, what characteristics do you find unattractive in a person? Now, like, this ain't talking about looks wise necessarily. This is talking about inside, like what a person stands for in their character. And, say you're single. What does it turn off? What kind of person is like, I ain't gonna fool with them because I don't, their character is unattractive, not just their looks.
Okay, you go first.
Now, me, Adam Newsom, what would I think is a ugly characteristic? And it's somebody that makes fun of people that wear clothes that ain't name brand. That sticks out to me.
That's bad.
Because I come from John M. Stumbo back in the 90s and 80s, and I can honestly say that in that growing up in that area, no kid had money hardly. I mean, people, you had people that could get stuff, but nobody was wealthy, and everybody stuck together and stuff. And the older I got, and if somebody made fun of somebody for what they wore or something, that really like bothered me.
I was going to say something similar, but I was going to say people that act better than they're raising.
Like how? What do you mean by that raising? Like California raisins?
I mean, like when they just try to act better than other people. Like, I don't know, like they're
my
better.
Kids is better than your kids.
Yeah, like they're better and they think their kids are better and they think just.
I'm a better Christian or I'm a better, I don't, how you say it? You sin more than I do or something.
Yeah, just people that try to act above other
judgmental people bother me.
Well, that's a different characteristic, I think.
That's another one. Making fun of people that wear clothes that ain't name brand and judgmental people. Yeah, because they ain't nobody perfect.
Yeah, I say people that act better than other people, which kind of goes along with talking about people that ain't wearing name brand, this, that, and other. And I think something that a characteristic that I don't really know how to say it, but people that have no confidence in themselves and they're always looking for other people to validate them. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's low self-esteem.
Well, and I hate.
Does that bother you? Does that offend you? Is that an ugly characteristic?
No, I'm just saying, like, everybody has low self-esteem at some point in their life over certain things. But I'm just saying, like, people who
always want a pat on the back.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, people that don't do things for themselves.
Yes.
They always are trying to do it
people
for
pleasers.
Other people. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. 100%. See, and that's kind of like, I'm 38 and I do a lot of stuff that people will probably call me a kid for.
I'm sure I have.
I'm a pro wrestler. I do podcasts. I do karaoke when the time is right.
That's not kiddish. That's just having fun.
I have fun though. But I'm not, people probably look down at me. And that's what I tell a lot of the kids. Don't be afraid that come down here and work out and stuff. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Who cares? A lot of the people that talk down to you or try to make you feel lower is people that are scared to death to take a chance and do what makes them happy.
I agree with that.
And me, I'll be this way till I'm in my 60s. Like I will be at my son's wedding doing the worm if I can.
And karaoke.
And karaoke. Sober too, which is very impressive. But ugly characteristics, looks wise, I don't really find, Pretty is pretty.
Just
I mean,
hygiene too. It
Easy.
has a lot to do with it. I mean,
and what do you mean by hygiene? Are we going to talk about what we think are ugly on people?
no, you said looks wise, and I said,
Oh, this is different. This is just about a person's inside, what they're about
I
on the
know,
inside.
but then you just said looks wise, pretty is pretty.
Yeah,
That's
like,
not true. A lot of people have different definitions of pretty. Like we've talked about that before. Somebody that has a great personality to me is way more attractive than somebody that's just pretty. You can be just pretty, but still not be as pretty as somebody with a good personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, you can be mediocre. Like there can be
Cool.
a girl that's beautiful.
Like what are we talking beautiful?
I mean, just gorgeous.
Okay.
People would say she's gorgeous or whatever. Tough. But then you have a girl that some people may say is, just mediocre. Yeah. But if she has a great personality,
that raises them 2 points.
She's kind and caring and compassionate, and no, to me that raises them way more than 2 points.
I think if you're a funny, if you've got a good personality, you're funny. And this is a woman I'm talking about, not a man. If a woman's like a 5 looks wise and she's funny and trustworthy and got a real good personality, that'd make her a 7 probably.
Yeah, I mean,
the older you get too, you look at things a whole lot different.
You do look at things differently, because I know it's cliche, but what's on the outside does fade. It does go away. So you don't want to be stuck with somebody who's just all about themselves and has no personality, and that's why I say you have to be attracted to your significant other, but you also have to look for those deeper qualities too.
What's deeper qualities to you?
What we just talked about, those characteristics.
Well, so we basically broke down what we thought was unattractive on the inside about a person. So we got that out of the way now. What do you all think? Drop down in the comments and tell us what you think is unattractive about people, or a person, not people. And the next one is, how should you keep romance alive in a marriage? Do you want to go first, or do you want Rick Rude to go first?
You can go first.
Well, considering we've been married almost 15 years, and I'm more like, I feel more alive, like closer to you now than I ever have. I think you've got to make your significant other a priority at all times. You've got to tell them you love them. You got to remind them how beautiful they are. You've got to plan date nights, which I'm a big believer in. I believe you should always date your person, your wife, because we're talking about marriage. We ain't talking about just dating. I'm not what you would say romantic.
No.
I mean,
but I'm not either.
No, I mean, you can be happy, you can do things, and it don't have to be romantic.
Just spending time together.
Yeah.
And communicating, having conversations. At the end of the day, what did you do today? How did it go? What kind of day did you have? What's going on? What did you hear? That ain't romantic, but that's real life.
But they're talking about like a spark. How do you keep a spark alive?
This ain't a Nicholas Sparks film.
Who's that?
A romance offer. This is real life. Yeah. That's how you keep a real marriage alive.
You order for your wife, you wash dishes for her.
Yeah, and you do continue to date each other, spend time together, and make decisions together, and all that good stuff.
But but a romantic person can do different things. Like a wife that likes flowers, or a wife that likes.
You don't know, because when you're romantic, you can't come up with that.
I feel bad.
I think it's romantic, but this goes along with being together for so long and being married and having kids. I think it's very romantic when he does the dishes, or it's very romantic when he folds the clothes and puts them up, or cleans the toilet or anything that he does like that takes it off my plate, that's romantic.
You really believe like
I
that?
really believe like that. I mean, especially through the summer, it's different because I'm off work and have a lot of time. But when I go back to work and our lives are going 300 miles an hour, when you do things that shows that you respect me and appreciate my time because you help take some of that stuff off my plate. So yeah, I think that's romantic.
So Lindsay's way to keep romance alive is to work for her.
Yes.
There you go. For the next one she dates or marries.
No, that's a whole different topic. And that's something I want to.
That's
a whole nother can of worms.
You may drop me.
Work for her. Who eats out of those dishes? Is it just me? Who wears all those clothes? Is it just me?
No.
Who uses that toilet? Is it just me?
No.
So I wouldn't call that working for her.
Working for us.
We need to have a whole show about men thinking it's a woman's job to cook, clean. Mm-mm.
You got too woman powerish.
That's not. That ain't woman power. That's a man sharing responsibilities like he's supposed to.
Well, I do. You can talk about the other ones out there that don't.
And I quote you: "Work for her, work for me when you're washing dishes that you ate out of." That ain't working for me. That's
Who puts the food up after it's been cooked?
Me, 70% of the time. You might do it twice.
What keeps
Who
romance
cooks the food?
alive? No, you're a great cook. And I like bragging on her what a good cook she is. But anyways, my advice to men to keep romance alive is just make your woman
Feel appreciated.
yes, and always remind her how pretty she is, and just be there for them at all times. Because I've seen people just fall apart and stuff because they quit communicating.
Yeah.
And they quit doing things together, and that ain't good. That ain't good to quit doing it. So stay involved.
Another thing too is
wear tight pants, wear shirts that show off your muscles and stuff around them.
do not wear tight pants
or jogging pants.
Yeah.
Another thing, what?
I don't know. You cut me off with the tight pants. What did I say? Oh, well, I was going to talk about how find humor in things. I think
so. Is comedy romantic to you? Would you say?
Yeah. But
So-
I'm thinking, I mean, too, the reason that I think we, have had a successful marriage so far is that we find comedy probably in things that we shouldn't find comedy in. But
Like what?
I don't know, just we find a way to usually laugh about everything. And I think that's, a good thing to do.
How important is a good humor in a person?
Very important.
Okay, so
Life's too short to take it too seriously.
basically what you got is two people that really ain't romantic trying to tell you how to keep romance alive in a way that
But
ain't
we're just
romantic.
trying to be real life, though. Like I said,
Most women do like romantic things, though, don't they? Wouldn't you say? Like to be called honey or baby.
No, I'm not opposed to some romantic things. I'm talking about on a day-to-day, daily basis of how to keep a marriage working. Is that not what this is ultimately all
Says,
about?
how should we keep romance alive in a marriage?
Well, romance, I don't know. I couldn't tell you a lot about that, but
Rent a good book or buy a good book. All right. So we got through that one. That was a little bit difficult question, but it was easy. I mean, our way is different. Like I said, we're not really romantic people. How would you describe your perfect date, Lindsay? Be honest.
This goes back to not being romantic.
Well, all right. So, what's a perfect date for an unromantic person?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's all about what you enjoy, what you would consider perfect.
All right, you tell you were
I'm
perfect.
introverted. I like to stay at the house. I don't really like to get ready and go places. So my idea of a perfect date would be to have dinner here, maybe to watch a movie. I don't know.
Something you might want to think about.
Just stay here, not leave the house. Not have to interact with other people.
All right. That's a perfect date then. Perfect date. That's a perfect
We
date.
have those all the time then.
Yeah, we live a date. We date every day. To me, I would say a perfect date would be on a Friday the 13th in the fall. We would ride down to Hobart's and get a steak sandwich, ride out to Jenny Wiley and ride around the camp area and ride out by the lake, go by Dairy Queen and get blizzards, come back home, put pajamas on, get in bed and watch Friday the 13th part 3.
No, that's what we both said. Eat.
We love to eat.
We both said it's our perfect date starts off with eating.
But I like getting out and just driving around with you and talking and listening to music and kind of like it was back in the old days. Still, I like to do that. But yeah, that would be my perfect date and just end here at the house like she likes to be at.
Yeah.
What is your definition of cheating? Oh, my foot.
Who come up with that question? I didn't see that one.
Well, it's there. Definition of cheating. This is gonna be pretty what are you doing?
I'm texting Max and telling him not to play ball in the kitchen.
You've got a 13-year-old with a basketball and a goal in the kitchen. 13. When I was 13, if I would have put a basketball goal up Ed Newsom's kitchen, he would have came out and fought me like a 30 style boxer. So we're at a pause right now.
All right.
Definition of cheating. Go with it, Lindsay. Go.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean,
I get away with murder then.
No, I'm just trying to I think there's different levels.
Okay. That's interesting.
You can cheat without ever being physical with somebody else. So I guess having an emotional or physical.
Which would be what?
What do you mean?
An example of an emotional.
An emotional or physical relationship.
I know what a physical one would be.
With somebody else.
But an emotional.
I mean, if you're constantly.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I don't know. That's what cheating is. If you're talking to somebody, if you're doing something you have to hide from your spouse, that's cheating. Because why would you hide it? If there's not something there, if there's not anything going on, then you don't have to hide it. So anything that you have to hide, obviously, you know you shouldn't be doing. So I consider that cheating.
I do too. I think cheating is all, I mean, just like you said, hiding it. Like, it can be different than physical for sure. It's almost worse if it's an emotional deal, to be honest, because that means that feelings are involved. And I guess, I mean, what is your definition of cheating? Well, talking on the phone to another man for one, texting back and forth. I mean,
well, like I said, anything that you have to hide. I mean, not just. I mean, if you had a best friend, I mean, if you were talking on the phone to Tasha Haley, I wouldn't think a thing of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's not something that you would hide. So it wouldn't necessarily just be, talking on the phone with somebody. Like it I don't know, it would be something that you thought you had to hide. So
that's your definition of cheating too?
Yeah.
That's a good one, honestly. Who was that, Max? Yeah, that's a good definition of it. What do you say?
He said okay.
But yeah, that's definitely it. Describe each other in 3 words and why. Do you want to go first, or you want me to?
How deep are we going?
Just
the first 3 words that come to mind.
No. I mean, describe
I would say kind,
kind. Example. You gotta give an example.
kind, humorous, funny, comical, whatever you want to say. Um, and outgoing.
Kind, humorous, and outgoing.
Yeah.
God.
Is that bad?
I mean, that's the way you see me.
That's not bad. I think those are good qualities.
Well, I'm happy then.
I mean, you said 3.
And you gotta give reasons why.
I don't know why you're funny.
I mean, what do I do that makes you laugh?
Everything.
As in, tell a
Just the
joke.
words that come out of your mouth.
So kind, humorous, and funny.
No,
Humorous
I
and
didn't
funny
say that. You
is-
said that. I said outgoing.
which is kind.
Outgoing and kind is not the same at all. I'm kind, but I'm not outgoing.
Okay.
Outgoing is your personality type.
Beautiful. I'm talking about you. Beautiful because of your looks and your hair and your smile and you're blushing again.
No, I'm not.
But beautiful, hardworking, because I see the work you put in at your job, how much you do at the house, even when you're not at school. And motherly. So beautiful, hardworking, and motherly.
I'll take it. Yours were better than mine. Yeah, but you've known these questions and you got to think on them.
No, I didn't. I just
Yeah,
wrote
you
them
did.
like I would think about that. I mean, I look at you and tell you that every day. Do I not tell you you're beautiful every day?
No. I ain't gonna lie for you just cause we're on here.
How
We're
often?
alive, pal.
How often then? How often?
I mean, you probably do several times a week, but not every day.
Several times a week. Well, all right, I'll take that then. So we got questions. That's what we got to look at. So that was our 5. That's our 5 topics of the night.
I thought you had more interesting ones. I thought you read more interesting ones the other day.
That's what I sent you, but you didn't pay no attention.
That's not bad.
I seen hardcore hall drops. Hey, right here. Is it possible?
Possible. That's an
Humorous.
example. That's an example of why he's funny.
Is it possible to have unity in marriage when you keep having the same arguments over and over again? That's a good question, hardcore hall. If we keep having the same arguments over and over, something needs to change.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you're arguing about the same thing,
It's time to put up or shut up.
and it's time for both people to make changes in order to make things work.
Yeah, something's got to change. And, if you're in a marriage and been in a marriage a long time and you're arguing over the same thing, it's stalled. So you got to change that, I think. But you can have unity in different aspects. Just got to change that one thing. You got to look and say, listen, we need to fix this. Garrett says this is a dirty podcast. No, Garrett, unfortunately, you're not getting no dirty podcast. Hardcore Hall with another question. He says, what are you really committing to when you vow to love a spouse in sickness and in health? That means if Lindsay gets sick with something, I'm not going to cheat on her or leave her. I'm going to stay
Yeah,
with her.
but he's talking about on a level, on another level.
Like how?
Like, I don't know. There's just I've seen people go through things that I'm sure is really hard on them, but I mean, when you vow to stay with somebody through sickness and in health, that means you're there no matter what the diagnosis is, no matter what is going on, you got to be there for that person.
Good answer. Nina said, will this be rated R?
No.
Marion Donnie Riley says, do you all use butter or margarine when baking pastries? What do you use
I
butter?
don't bake.
Say you did.
I usually buy it at Food City.
She gets butter though, don't you?
Yeah. Ain't that the same thing?
Peyton Jarvis says, what has helped keep you all together and help you through hard times?
You go first.
The Lord first and foremost, because we both believe in God and are religious and spiritual. So we pray, and like I said, I drop the ball regularly, but I try to pick it back up, take off. And but if I didn't have him to pray to, and I would be ruined, as I like to say.
And that goes back to every aspect of your life. You have to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I don't know how people make it without one, to be honest.
No, I don't either. And like I said, man,
if you want to see your life start to change in a positive way, go to church, accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, read your Bible, have a relationship with God, talk to God just like you would talk to your husband, your wife, talk to God, have conversations with Him, and it will completely and totally change your life, and you will never regret it.
That's definitely, I've seen that help a lot of people that's went through way harder times than I ever thought of. And and it's evident what's kept them strong if you just see it, and you'll have tough times that's when your toughest times comes, when you get saved. When you're not saved, nothing bothers you. But when you're saved and I still fall daily, but I feel conviction of it because I must be on the right path, because if I didn't, who would care?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's that relationship with the Holy Spirit. And but like
I feel like when the devil's bothering you, you know that you're doing something right.
I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
My late great good friend Glenn Sawyer would say, when we talk, he would just talk. I would tell I'd tell him, I'd say, man, when I was young, drinking and swarping stuff, I said, I'd lay down, not think about it. But even when I was like that, when I was younger, I still prayed every night. I still knew God and stuff. I just didn't get saved. You know what I mean? I was just thankful I grew up. Mom had me going to church and stuff as a kid because I came back, which is like the prodigal son, I guess. But if you raise your kid up and take them to church and stuff, even if they get out and they stray and they get into meanness, 9 times out of 10 they'll probably come back. But that's number one. Number 2 is just being honest with each other, and communication is the key.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, just finding the humor in things.
Like Lindsay could tell me anything, and I would never think different of her hardly. I mean, I don't care.
Hardly.
I mean, honestly, she could tell me, anything. It wouldn't bother me because we're pretty close. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. Just having God in all aspects of your life and communicating and laughing together.
Remember, play together.
That's what our preacher told us.
Preacher didn't know us no more than.
But he gave good advice.
He gave great advice.
He did.
He gave great advice, man. He said.
He even told you, don't forget to date your wife. Told us to make sure that we.
You think he's dead now?
I don't know. That's. I wish I knew. He was good.
He was. He was an old wise soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if he told everybody the same thing.
I'm sure he probably did. But
anybody that got married at what was it called?
Victorian
Gardens in Gatlinburg. I would like to go to that page and see if people that got married are still together.
I don't know if that page is still up. That place ain't open anymore.
Do you remember on our honeymoon where we stayed?
That little chapel was still it's still there, I think, but or did it burn down in those fires?
I don't think it did.
Seemed like
Sydney went by.
Seemed
like Sydney went by not too long ago and took a picture of it and sent it to me.
Yeah. Victorian Gardens. That's where it was. That was the name of it. It was a cute little chapel.
It was, and we stayed. I remember trying to find a cabin, and I found the cabin, a chalet cabin, whatever it's called. We stayed in, and it was called the Grand Finale.
The grand finale. Yeah.
I can remember just about everything about that honeymoon too. So it's funny.
And I'll tell you, it was advertised as being a whole lot nicer than what it was.
I loved it.
It was very,
High
very no,
Thinking they're better than people.
No.
My cabin's better than yours.
no
No,
false advertisement.
it had arcades in it, had a jukebox in it,
It
a
had
hot tub.
shag carpet.
Daggone right it did. It set the mood, that place.
No.
Romantic.
And a pink tub or something.
No, it was a nice. They had the mirrors.
It was
around.
either pink or green.
I think it was beige.
No.
Had an
Sound
arc.
like the dog crying.
I know. That's what I say. Motherly. The dog is. I mean, this dog is meaner than Max. If it don't get its way, it eats the house.
Seriously.
I mean, I've never seen
He
nothing
thinks
like
he's he is my kid, but he literally is
it. About to
like
get spanked.
a baby. You will not. He is like my child. He cries after me. He hugs me. He won't let me out of my sight or me out of his sight. Like he's psycho, but I love it.
Well, this is night one of Lindsay and Adam After Dark. So listen, if you've check out this episode, subscribe, like the channel. Wait a minute.
Leave some ideas in the comments of
Yeah.
what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna do this 2 or 3 times a month. So what?
1 to 2 times a week.
Not one.
We'll run out of stuff to talk about.
No, we won't. If people drops us things and I come up with questions. This is fun though. Everybody needs to do this. We may bring couples on. Who knows? If you're a couple and you'd like to come on Lindsay After Dark, send us a video explaining why. And we'll have you on. We can do that. We can have a dual.
Yeah, or send us situations that are going on and we can comment on it.
Yes. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to film this on my phone for advertisement. If you are a couple and you would like to come on Adam and Lindsay After Dark, send us a video explaining why and what you would like to talk
Are you
about.
having tryouts?
Yeah. We'll split the screen. We'll talk as a couple, and it'll be fun. So I'll stop that now. Listen, thank you all for tuning in. Feels good. Snack of the week, birthday cake cookies from Double Quick. Lindsay's snack of the week would be beef jerky from Melinda's. She's laughing. That's a genuine.
I think Melinda appreciates that shout out.
Let her know. School's starting back. Go to Studio 23 to get your hair cut. The dude at Taylor ain't there no more. So Philip Miller's at McDowell. Do you got anything to tell kids before school starts? Because kids shouldn't be watching this. So this is nighttime for them. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. And we need a sign off quote. We'll be thinking of that. But really, thank you for tuning in.